Hi. I thought I'd be asleep, but here I am shooting a video again. Another middle of the night, not quite middle of the night video. I actually thought I was going to shoot a couple of videos earlier today, and I had makeup on and everything. And that didn't happen. I ended up working on my book, which I'm glad about. So I'm sticking with the trend of middle of the night videos. What I sleep in, lack of makeup, it's okay. Because what's really important is to get the content out. And tonight, the content is about a totally different thing that happened at the 6-day entrepreneurial, Dharmapreneurial Revolution event I went to, led by Kyle Cease, staffed by some amazing people, attended by other amazing people, about a week and a half ago. I kept thinking about my dad and what I call the final piece of abuse. There was some abuse from my dad from when I was about 13 to 15. And as I may have said in another video, when my brother heard about it and asked my mother how bad it was, my mom said, well, on a scale of nothing to horrible, it was somewhere in here. And she had it right, except there were some things she didn't know about and that I didn't realize at the time, because two of the incidents didn't come up from my subconscious until last. I know my eyes are moving around a lot, but that happens when I am remembering thinking. Didn't come up until last fall. And so what I had done previously and what I had learned in the 80s, so I was using a method learned in the 80s and 90s, is I would focus on this specific incidents of what I mean by abuse is not acceptable behavior in our society for a man in his early 40s toward his young teenage daughter. And it was traumatic for me. So I had done a lot of processing and meditating about specific incidents. And here I am at this business seminar, and I keep thinking about the final incident. And I knew it related to business, and I didn't know how. And I think I've mentioned this before. I didn't know how in a previous video. I didn't know how it related to business. I just knew it did. I trusted that it did. I trusted my intuition. Well, on the morning of the second day, when we were meditating at the seminar, we meditated at the seminar to help us get at things, emotional issues, other kinds of issues that could affect our business, because emotional issues do affect our business. What happened during that meditation was, instead of focusing on any specific incident, I just found myself sitting on a couch, and my dad was there in front of me, standing in front of me and moving around. And there was nothing else in the scene. The rest of the scene was just dark, not any kind of ominous darkness, just nothing else. And I was sitting very calmly. And previously, when I processed these incidents, I could feel feelings of fear and anger and serious lack of safety and confusion about why Dad was doing what he was doing, why he was acting the way he was acting. And in that most recent meditation, What was totally different is there was no specific incident it was referencing, and I was very relaxed, sitting on the couch and just watching Dad moving around and gesturing, and he might have been speaking, but I couldn't hear words. And he seemed frantic, moving back and forth in front of me. And every now and then he would come, I don't know, within maybe 2 or 3 feet of me, and I would just look at him and say, nope. I mean, the first time he came near me, and I thought, should I do that? Should I do anything? And I just thought, nope, just no. Real calmly. It's very different. So the part of me that was meditating was fascinated. The part of me sitting in the scene was extremely calm, to the point of not even wanting to try to control him or make him be normal, which is what I had tried to do from when I was about 13 to 15 to keep myself safe, and because I wanted a normal relationship with a normal dad, so I wanted to try to normalize him. And I couldn't. It wasn't in my social set, in our culture, it wasn't considered. Now it's common, but it wasn't considered normal behavior. So in the meditation, I was so calm that I even at one point saw that I had a magazine in my hands and I was flipping through it. And I thought, this is bizarre. I don't even have to watch him every second. I just flip through the magazine and look up every now and then. If he gets close, I say no. Just said no. Well, this went on for several minutes, it seemed like. And then it just stopped. What a relief to not try to control him. What a relief to just simply say no when he came too close. It was so easy to just let him be crazy. He wasn't crazy, but his actions looked in the meditation crazy. And some of his actual actions to me were crazy when I was a kid, teenager. I sat with it a while longer. The scene had changed. I mean, now I was just meditating and wondering about what I just experienced. And once out of the meditation, I wrote myself a little note about it, and I said it's not loving to try to normalize him. It wasn't loving to try to normalize him to save him or to keep him safe. It wasn't normal behavior. What was loving was to just let him be as he was. That doesn't mean I'm condoning what he did, but what was what was loving was to let him be as he was. And to just say no. Now, that might look different in practical application than in meditation. But that's what I understood in meditation, that I had done myself and him a disservice for so many decades, trying to normalize his behavior in my mind and rationalize it and understand it based on his experience. That's all okay. But what I realize today is that out of fear of attack and abuse, ever since then, I've tried to normalize things. Well, life isn't always normal and smooth, right? It's not. It's not. And how much and how many times have I limited my possibilities and my options and my experience and my life and my career choices and my relationship choices based on so seriously wanting normal. Now you juxtapose that with my mom calling me weird, which she did for a long time. She did not mean harm by it. I think she was trying to let me know that I think she's trying to like train me socially about what was normal and what was not. And because she got hurt a lot by being different. And of course, she didn't want me to get hurt. She didn't want me to get hurt. But the fact is, there's a lot of normal that fits in our society in me. And then there's a lot that's weird and uncommon. And the fact is, I'm seeing it's more and more common than I thought, because I think mainstream is shrinking, or its edges are getting a lot broader and fuzzier. And there's a lot of overlap between mainstream and non-mainstream, for lack of a better term. I was really regretting today as I was standing outside Starbucks sipping my once a week latte, standing in the gorgeous sunlight. I was really sad and grieving and regretting how much I've lost and how much I have capped, limited my life and experience based on a serious desire out of fear and out of wanting to feel safe from attack. How much I've tried to normalize things and be normal, whatever that means to me currently. Well, feeling that grief and that sadness, I feel some of it now. Feeling it and letting it out, I think, will make room for what's trying to spring out of me or take root and grow in me. I think letting go of the fear of not being normal, air quotes, forgive me the air quotes. I think letting go of that will vastly open up my life. Help me see in a new way opportunities and possibilities, people, and I'll just feel safer. I won't have to be vigilant about things that aren't normal. I'm thinking my nervous system might calm down some. That all sounds really good to me. So thank you to Kyle Cease for providing the safe setting. Oh, and also to the attendees and staff, all felt really safe. The safe setting, the support, and the opportunity for that to happen. And thank you to myself for learning to trust that when things like that come up, I will sit with them and watch them and listen and feel. I only have half of the next thing I want to say. The next thing I want to say is please allow yourself the opportunity to see where experiences that were traumatic for you have limited you and put a ceiling on your experiences. I don't know a better way to say that. See if you can flood those experiences with love. Not condoning any abusive behavior. Just accepting that it was there. Yeah. Oh, man. I would like to feel happier right now, but I'm still grieving. And that's okay. So I'm going to go sit with it and let it out. Let it come up and out because it's there. And it's time. Good night.